In a peaceful town nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling sea, life was simple and serene. Houses had neat gardens, birds sang sweetly, and most importantly, every clock in town was always perfectly on time. No ticking, no talking, just an annoyingly perfect chime every single second. This happened because the town was protected by the Grand Clock Tower, an enormous gear in the sky that kept perfect time and doled out seconds to every house in town with military precision. Now, this would have been great if the people of this town weren't all completely obsessed with being on time. They rushed everywhere, never stopping to smell the roses or enjoy the sunset. And at the center of it all was the enigmatic old clockmaker, Theo, the only person who seemed happy keeping everyone on time. He lived alone in a cottage outside the town walls with his clever talking cat, Niko, whose fur was as black as midnight and eyes shone like polished brass. One night, a ferocious storm rattled the windows of the cottage. Rain lashed against the glass, thunder roared overhead, and the wind howled like a hungry wolf. Suddenly the lights flickered and died, plunging the room into darkness. "Master Theo," squeaked Niko, his voice barely a whisper. "What's happening?" But Theo was already up, his old face creased with concern. "The power's out," he said, his voice grave, "and if we don't get to the tower soon, I'm afraid it'll be too late." Without another word, Theo grabbed his toolbox and disappeared into the night. Frightened for his master, Niko quickly called a taxi. As they sped through the empty streets, the clock tower loomed into view. Its gears, usually so precise, were now still. A terrible thought struck him. Could the clock tower, the heart of their town, have stopped? Racing up the stairs to the top of the tower, they discovered the unthinkable. All the massive gears were frozen, and in the silence the hands of every clock in the town were pointed at exactly 3:33 in the morning. "Oh, Master Theo!" cried Niko, horrified. "It's a disaster! What are we going to do?" Theo looked grave. "I need to check the heart of time," he said, disappearing behind a curtain of gears. But as Niko followed, Theo suddenly vanished. "Master Theo, where are you?" Niko called frantically, but there was no reply. Only the sound of dripping water echoed around him. Then he saw it, a small keyhole hidden behind a gear. Cautiously, Niko approached and inserted the key. A soft click echoed, and a secret passage opened up, revealing a swirling vortex of energy. Before Niko could call out, "Theo," he was sucked inside. Tumbling through the air, he closed his eyes tight, bracing for impact. But instead of pain, he felt something soft, like grass, beneath him. Dazed, he opened his eyes and gasped. He found himself in a meadow bathed in the golden glow of a setting sun. Flowers of every color imaginable swayed in the gentle breeze, and butterflies with wings, like stained glass, danced among them. Then he heard a giggle and turned to see a little girl with hair like spun gold skipping towards him. "Hello," she said, her voice like the tinkling of bells. "Welcome to the secret time world. I'm Ellie, its protector. Are you lost?" Shaking off his surprise, Niko explained about the still clocks and the missing Theo. "I need to find him," he said, his voice urgent. "But to do that, you must first help me fix the heart of time. It's the source of our world's magic, and without its power, our world will fade from existence." As Ellie led him deeper into the fantastical realm, Niko couldn't help but be amazed. They walked under canopies formed by huge luminous clock gears, sailed across rivers of flowing sand, and dodged raindrops that fell like tiny hammers. But soon, the cheerful atmosphere turned somber as they approached a large cave. "This is the Cave of Lost Time," Ellie explained, her voice downcast. "And it's here that the heart of time is kept." Entering the cave, they found a vast chamber filled with swirling mists. In the center sat a giant clock, its pendulum frozen, its hands stuck at 3:30. But something else caught Niko's eye. Huddled in a corner was an old man with twinkling eyes and a white beard, none other than Theo. Relieved to find him safe, Niko hurried over. "Master Theo, are you all right?" he asked, concerned. Theo looked up, a sad smile on his face. "I'm fine, my boy," he said. "Just tired. You see, to enter this world one must give up their watch. And I didn't want to leave you without a way to tell the time." Niko understood. In this place, time flowed differently, and to understand why, they needed to fix the giant clock, the heart of time. But as Niko approached the clock, he felt a sudden jolt and turned to see a group of strange figures emerging from the mist. They wore ragged clothes and masks made from clock parts, and their eyes gleamed with malice. "Time pirates," Niko whispered, horrified. They lunged, but Niko, dodging, raced for cover. With a flick of his tail, he activated his special ability, the Shadow Dash. Dashing through the shadows, he slid under their grasp, narrowly avoiding their attacks. He joined Theo and Ellie near the heart of time. "We need to fix the clock," he said, panting, "but I don't know how." Theo smiled, handing him a small wrench. "All you need to do is turn the final gear," he said, pointing to the largest gear in the clock. But as Niko moved closer, a fierce battle erupted between the time pirates and Theo. Niko knew he couldn't win in a fight, but he had an idea. Taking a deep breath, he focused on the gear, willing it to move. Suddenly he felt a surge of energy course through him, and the gear began to turn. But then everything went black. When Niko woke up, he found himself back in the cottage. Sunlight streamed through the window, and the gentle chirp of birds filled the air. Rushing to the window, he saw the town was bustling as usual, the clocks chiming their annoyingly perfect tune. Had it all been a dream? He turned to find Theo watching him with a knowing smile. "It wasn't a dream, Niko," he said softly. "You saved the time world. You just don't remember." Theo explained that Niko's kind, the Midnight Cats, were born from stardust and moonlight and had a unique connection to time. With this gift, Niko could control time-related magic, but to use it, he needed to believe in himself. "You have a great destiny ahead of you, Niko," Theo said, his eyes shining, "and when the time comes, you must embrace it." Confused but determined, Niko promised to do his best. Just then, a loud crash shook the house. Startled, Niko and Theo rushed to the window. To their horror, the grand clock tower was crumbling. Its gears, once so precise, were grinding to a halt. The people below panicked as bricks rained down. Without hesitation, Niko dashed out, leaping from rooftop to rooftop. At the top of the tower, he found Ellie. "The tower is collapsing," she cried. "The heart of time's power is fading fast. We need to fix it." But the sight that greeted them was heartbreaking. The heart of time was nothing but a pile of dust. Despair threatened to engulf Niko, but he remembered Theo's words. Summoning his courage, he placed a paw on the remaining gear and closed his eyes. This time, instead of controlling the gear, he focused on mending it, willing it to become whole again. As he did, a wave of energy surged through him, knitting the shattered clock back together. The hands began to move, ticking once more. Relieved, Niko watched as the tower stabilized, its gears whirring back to life. Below, the townspeople cheered, their fear forgotten. But Niko noticed something strange. As the heart of time ticked, a faint pulsing emanated from somewhere deep within the tower. Whatever it was hidden from view, ticking patiently in the shadows. As Niko stood there pondering, Theo approached, a thoughtful expression on his face. "Well done, Niko," he said, pride in his voice. "You've saved the town and the time world. You truly are special." But his gaze was fixed on the distant horizon. "There's something else out there," he murmured, more to himself than anyone else. "Something much bigger." Niko tilted his head, confused, but Theo only smiled mysteriously. "You'll understand someday," he said. "When the time is right, we must go now." Turning to the others, he said, Thank you for your help today. You've both shown great bravery and kindness." To Niko he added softly, "Remember what I taught you, Niko. Your destiny awaits." With that, he and Niko disappeared into the shadows, leaving Ellie and the townspeople to their celebrations. The mystery of the ticking in the shadows remained unsolved, but Niko knew that when the time came, he and his master would be ready. For now, the town was safe, its clocks ticking merrily and the heart of time beating steadily. But Niko couldn't shake off the feeling that something much larger, something even more extraordinary, was still ticking away in the shadows, waiting for its moment to chime.